Hey guys, we're going to be setting up the database for our Slack clone, and we're going to be using Postgres, and right here I have the schema that I think I'll be using. Here are all the tables and then all the attributes that they will have. So I'm thinking of four main tables: a user table, a team table, channel and messages, and then having a join table called member. So a member is someone that is a user that's part of a team. So you notice I have the team ID pointing to user, and the user ID, the team ID is pointing to team, and the user ID is pointing to the user. And then our user, we're going to have username, email, password. That's usual. For our team, we'll have a name and an owner, the name of the team, and then we'll actually link back who created the team. That'll be the owner. And then our channel here will belong to a team, and also will be linked to messages. So messages, a user creates messages, and messages are in channels. So we have a channel ID pointing to a channel, and a message also has a user ID and also has text. And then our channel here can have a name of the channel. It can either be public or private. So we have a boolean here, and this team ID is pointing to the team itself because it's within a team. So this is a schema we're going to be creating, and to use it we're going to be using Sequelize. Sequelize is a Node.js library that helps us actually create the database models and do all the database things. So we're going to be following along with this example here. This is an Express example that Sequelize recommends using since we're using an Express server. So we're going to follow along with these guys and create the models. So we're going to start off by doing this index.js. This is the index.js. This is where basically you configure your models. And then if we click on over, we can see what a model looks like here. And you'll notice how they'll actually define data types and then also do associations here. So let's go ahead and get started. So here's the code. And last time I left this export const schema. We don't need to export, so I can go ahead and just kill that real quick. And let's install Sequelize. So I'm going to pop over here to the command line and say yarn add Sequelize. So we'll install that library and then we can go ahead and use it. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a folder called models, which is where we'll put all our Sequelize things in. So index.js. So as we create our models here, what Sequelize will do is actually create a PostgreSQL database and use it. So let's copy this and paste it in here. Now they're doing a lot of things here that we don't need to do, so I'm going to get rid of a lot of it. What this example here is trying to do is basically read all the files that you have in your models folder and then associate them. But this is a very confusing example. I like to simplify a lot because you don't really need all this. So I'm going to get rid of this stuff here. We do need Sequelize, but since we're using Babel, we can use this syntax. So I'm going to say import Sequelize from Sequelize, and then we don't have to worry about the node.env for right now. Config file we don't have made. We don't have a database URL, so I'm going to get rid of that. We want to create const. We're going to create a Sequelize object like this, passing in the database, username, password, config. We're not going to have any config, so I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to have a database object here. We can call this, I'm going to call this models, and that's what we're going to export at the bottom. So export default models, and we're going to say models.sequelize here, but we'll talk about what that's doing in a second. And get rid of all this jazz as well. Get rid of that, and we can actually put this all here. Okay, so we're going to have a user model, so we can put that here. This part we're going to keep, and I'll talk about how this works. We're grabbing Sequelize, and we're doing uppercase Sequelize here. Okay, so this is basically how we're going to do it. And instead of this, what we can do is just go ahead and do a dot slash. Okay, and we're going to put a comma there. So let's start up at the top. So we're importing Sequelize, and then we're creating a Sequelize instance. Now the Sequelize instance here will connect to our Postgres database. So what we need to do is actually create a database and make sure we have Postgres installed on our computers. So I have Postgres already installed, so I don't need to install it, but if you don't have Postgres yet, go ahead and install that. And with it should be coming something called pSQL. pSQL lets you basically do operations from the command line on Postgres. So here I'm going to create a database that we're going to use. So I'm going to say create database, and I'm going to call it Slack. And I put a semicolon at the end, and then I'm going to do \q to get out of it. So now I just created the database. So here I call it Slack. So whatever name you call it, you want to put that same name here. Then here I'm just going to set as a username Postgres. This is like a default username and password that's usually on there. So you can just put Postgres. And then here, this is where I'm going to create models. So we're going to have a couple models. User.js. And we can come back over here and see. So user, team, member, channel, messages. So user, member, team, not messages, and then channel. Oops, that should be channel.js. So we create a new file for every single database table. And then our index here, we just need to import these models. So here we have a user model, and then we do this for each table we have. So we have a channel, and we have a member, and we have a message, and then a team. So that's 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. So then here, you'll notice in our Express example, there is this associate function that they use. And what that does is, that's where you see where I have arrows over here. This is an association. So to create associations and Sequelize, you have to create this function and say how they relate. And then we actually create the relations by looping through our objects. So here I'm going to say models. And then for each model, I have the model name. So for example, user. And then all we're going to do is we're going to say if that has a associate method or function, then we're going to call associate. So model or models. And all it's going to do is going to loop through all these models and then associate them together. And then we're just exporting this model so we can use it. So in our index.js over here, what we can do is we can actually just say import models from /models. And now we have our database models right here, and we can do stuff with it. But we'll worry about that after we actually fill out our table. So let's start with the user. So we can copy this as a starting point and paste this guy in. So we don't have to use useStrict. Here we can just export default. So export default, and we're going to export default a function. So we're going to do an arrow function here. And here I'm going to say const, and this is going to be a user. And the name of my table is called user. So this is the table name. When you do Sequelize.define, this is the actual name of your table. And they'll usually add like an S at the end of it. So if I do user, this will actually name it to users. And then here we can put the different things that we want. So I want a username, and I'm going to say type, and I actually want to make a constraint that it's unique. So I'm going to say true, and we're going to put a comma here, and I'm going to put some other fields, but first here we're going to have a user.associate, and then here's our function we can do stuff with, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And then we're going to return user. So this is what our function is going to look like, or our model is going to look like for each table. And now here I'm going to go ahead and copy this 3 times. So we have a username, a email, and a password. So we want the username and email to be unique, but we don't want the password to be unique, so we can just get rid of that. We don't need to make a type. We can just say the data type is a string. So there we go. So now we have our user model, and there's a couple relations we have with user. So messages belong to users, team belongs to users, and also members belong to users. So if we come and look at the Sequelize documentation, there's a couple one-to-m relationships we have, but we're going to actually use those on the other end. So we're going to define the association from message, not from user. But for end-to-m, we actually will have to do it from user. So we're going to say belongs to, and we actually have to create a what's called a through model, where we basically say what we want to do it through, because we have to have a separate join table. So I'm going to say models, or we can say user dot belongs, I think it was belongs to many, okay, belongs to many models dot team, and then here we put our options. So we're going to say through, and I believe you can just do a string. You can also, you notice how you actually put the model name here. I believe you can also put just a string. They have that. No, they don't have an example of it, but I believe you can just do a string of what the name of your through table is. If not, we can actually create another. We created a model here called member. We could, if we wanted to, we could say models.member, but I actually don't think you need to, because we don't have any extra fields in our member table yet. If we did, we would actually want to create another table. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of member for now. We might add it later, and we don't have to import it anymore. So here I'm going to say member, and we can say what we want our foreign key to be. So I'm going to say user ID. Alright, so now our user is done. I'm going to copy and paste this and go on to team. So we're going to say team, lowercase team. So the team had a name. Let's make the team names unique. I think they're unique in Slack as well. So here we're going to say team, 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 and actually in my index over here I want to make these uppercase. Oops. I just like to reference them that way. So back to team. So a name, and then that was it. The only other thing is team belongs to user. So this is the other way, and it's through the member table, and here is a team ID. But also remember, it had one other field here, which was the owner. Notice how I'm not supplying the ID. Sequelize will actually add the ID for us. So let's add the owner field. So this is a one-to-m relationship, so we're going to be using belongs to. So team.belongs to, and we're going to say models.user. And then here I'm going to say the foreign key is called owner. Alright, so now our team is good. Let's copy that, and we'll paste that in here. So here is message. So this has a couple of relationships, two one-to-m relationships. So we're going to be doing belongs to many. So we can do a little comment. This is 1 to n, or 1 to m, and this would be a n-to-m relationship. So copy this guy. We're going to do 2 of them for message, and make sure we rename the table up here, message. So both channel, so this will be, oops, channel ID. Actually, I actually don't think we do this here. So messages, actually yeah we do, because we want to do we want to store the user ID and the channel ID. So belongs to channel, we add the channel ID. Here we add the user ID. Okay. And I'm going to put this up here because both of these are 1 to m. And instead of name, this is going to be text, and of course we don't need to make this unique. So message is looking good. Copy again, move over to channel. So channel. So this is going to have a name. I believe channel names need to be unique, but they don't need to be unique. They need to be unique per team, so we can't enforce them just with the unique. So what I mean by that is team names are unique across teams, right? But channels, there are a lot of channels in a team. So my team might have the same channel name as another team, and that's okay, because usually all teams have a channel named general. So we won't worry about that for now. So we need a name and a public. So name and public. So this is going to be a boolean, and let's change this to channel. Okay. So this needs to belong to a team. So, and I believe that's the only relationship we need to add for this guy. So that's just a team ID. And I believe we're all done creating our models. So let's just count the relationships and make sure our arrows count up. So we have 1 here. We have 2 here, so that's 3. We have, 4, 5, and we don't want to count this one twice. So that's 1 here. So I have 5 relationships I counted. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or actually, we don't want to count this twice. So this is 1 right here. This 1 member is a relationship. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we did 5. So we're good, I believe. And we can double check this in PostgreSQL too. Okay, so now we have all our models and everything's filled out. What we want to do, if I made no mistakes here, we want to come over here. We have imported our models, and now we want to sync this with the database. So if we see our example over here, this is how they recommend doing it. We can click on app.js, see how they import. I think they import their somewhere over here. I guess maybe they're not importing it here. Let's see where they're doing their database. So we can search the repository. I guess they're not importing it. They should be syncing somewhere. Let's search for the word sync. Okay, here we go. Is this a test? Oh, this is an integration test. So they should see, okay, models.index, there's sync. Here we go. So they're doing models.sequelize.sync, and then after they do .then, they start their Express server. So we want to do it just like this. So when we call sync like this, what that will do is it'll actually create the database tables, assuming they don't exist. So instead of calling app listen here, we're going to say models.sequelize.sync, and then we're going to say .then, and then I don't think we listen for anything, or we use the X for anything. And then we just put it in there. And cool. And actually, we don't actually have to use this. We can leave it empty. So let's go ahead and run this and see if we get any errors with that. So I'm going to go ahead and clear and do npm start. And then you should see, if it works correctly, a bunch of output. Okay, so we did something wrong. Dialect needs to be explicitly supplied as of v4. Okay, so we need to tell it we're using PostgreSQL. So I forgot about that. So right here we need to specify. I'm assuming we just put the word dialect, and we put, I believe, let's try Postgres. See if that works. If not, we can look it up in documentation. Okay, looks like that worked. So can't find users. So I used the wrong name in my index. So here we have user maps to user. And okay, so this is the output I was talking about. So it looks like it created the tables. We're getting a validation error. Not sure what that's about. I might have messed up in one of the models. So what I can do is I can type pSQL and I can do \c to connect to my database, my Slack database, and I can do \d. So \d will show me all the tables I just created, and this looks pretty good. And then I can actually describe a table, so I can do channels. This looks pretty good. So we have a team ID, and we notice our team ID should have a foreign key. That looks good. So channel member, see what that has. Member looks good. Users, this looks good. And then messages, this should relate to both the user and the channel. So we see the user ID and the channel ID. And then we can just verify our last one, which was team. Owner. All of this looks good. Was it maybe it was our members? Will it have the foreign keys messed up? Nope, everything looks good. I'm not sure why I got this, so \q gets you out. I'm not sure why I got that little error. Everything looks sound. I guess we'll find out later if this was incorrect and we can go ahead and fix it, but looks like we got everything set up, so that's good. One thing I want to try and see if we get the same problem. Sync here, I can say force is equal to true, and what that means is it'll actually drop all the database tables before it starts and redo it. So let's see if there's anything. Output. Nope. So now I'm not getting any red. So maybe I just had a database table or something in there that conflicted. I didn't think I did, but there we go. Everything is working nice now. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of force so we don't just keep dropping the data. And cool. So that is it for this video, guys. Let me know if you have any questions getting this set up, because getting the database up is a little bit tricky. But we now set up all our models, so we're ready to start actually storing the data. So next what we're going to be doing is in our resolvers over here in our schema, we're going to build out to be able to support all these, the team, the message, the channels, and actually do some permissions and a bunch of cool stuff. So we'll be starting that tomorrow. So thank you guys for watching, and the code is up on GitHub and it's in the link in the description below if you want to check out any of this. So thanks for watching.